So, starting by finding yourself a comfortable seat. Whatever that looks like for you, whether it's cross-legged, whether you're kneeling, whatever you need, I want you to encourage a little length into your spine. So if you've been sat at your desk all morning or you've been locked in one position, chances are you're feeling a little bit hunched. I want you to just clink, 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 clink that spine all the way up, roll the shoulders down, lift the crown of the head up. Bring your hands down to your side, so you're just pressing the fingertips into the earth or into the floor around you. Roll the shoulders back, close the eyes, take a deep breath in, and then sigh it all the way out. Take another 2 of those. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears, let the jaws unclench, let the cheeks relax. 1 more. And if that's all you've got time for today, give yourself a pat on the back. Perfect. Hopefully you feel a little bit lighter. Otherwise, I hope you're going to stick with me for a bit longer. As you breathe in, I want you to stretch the arms up above your head. And then there's no form to this. There's no specific way of moving, but I want you just to shift your rib cage from side to side. You can feel the rib cage kind of pivoting on the spine, wiggling from side to side, working into the sides of the waist. Deep breath in, stretch up, and then we're going to come into a little bit of a twist. So slowly twisting around, drop the hands down. Breathe in, take a little length up the spine. As you exhale, maybe twist a little bit deeper. Start to feel the sides of the ribs, the sides of the waist gently twisting. Inhale, chest ever so slightly moves back towards the center. Exhale, wind it back down. So it's like you're twisting the lid of a jar. 1 more. Inhale, swoop those arms back up above the head. Again, that little kind of intuitive wiggle side to side. And then twist it all the way around to the other side. Inhale, let the chest flow back in towards the center. Exhale, squeeze it back round. So focusing really along the sides of the body. Inhale, arms up above the head. Exhale, drop them down to your sides. Leaving this one hand down towards the floor, taking the opposite arm out at shoulder height. As you breathe in, you're going to sweep up and over. Relax the bottom shoulder, lengthen through this top side. Exhale, bring the arm back out to shoulder height. Inhale, stretch and lengthen. Imagine the hip drawing away from the rib cage. Exhale, back 1 more. Inhale, up. Stretch it out, hold it there this time. As you exhale, relax the shoulders, relax the head and the neck. As you breathe in, I want you to think about rolling the chest ever so slightly towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, you're going to roll it down towards the ground. Inhale, so you're moving that stretch around the side of the body, moving into the front of the ribs, into the back of the ribs. 1 more. Exhale, gently. Bring yourself back up. Plant that hand down. Opposite arm out at the side of your body. Inhale. So you use that inhale, that big stretch into the ribs. Exhale. Back down. In. And out. This first sequence of moves you can do sitting at your desk. You can encourage, if you're back working in the office, all of your colleagues to stretch along with you. Inhale, side bend, hold it there, let the exhale relax the shoulder, head and the neck, have a little dangle. Then as you breathe in, roll the chest ever so slightly up to the ceiling, exhale, back down. If that top arm starts to get tired, pop it on the rib cage instead, doesn't need to dangle above the head. In. And out. Lift yourself back up, have a little flex. And a wiggle. We're going to hop over to all fours. So, not really able to do this one at the desk anymore. But those first ones are enough. If you've taken a bit of a stretch through the side of the waist, you're able to take a deeper breath. You've lengthened and strengthened. You're feeling tip-top. Okay, to all fours. Start with a little bit of forwards and backwards. So inhale, drop the belly. Wiggle the shoulders, lift the gaze. Exhale, press away. Wiggle up into the back of the spine. And like we did with that seated exploration at the start, feel free to wiggle a little bit side to side, round and round, shift the weight forwards and backwards. Trying to ripple some movement through the body, however it feels good. In and out. Okay, we're going to start with a little lateral sway with the breath. So as you exhale, take the gaze over the left shoulder as though you were trying to look at the left hip. Inhale back to center. Exhale, same thing over to the right. Inhale, lengthen. Notice that you can sway the hips a little, so you're shortening through this side, lengthening through the other. In and out. And now that you've brought your attention to those sides of the body, we're going to take a slightly different movement. Swap the hands, step the hands forward, bring the knees together, and then just start dropping the hips from side to side. So really dipping the hips, really stretching into the sides of the waist. Again, those little wiggles, extra stretches. Whatever variation feels best, bring it back towards the center. We're going to roll over onto one side. So coming to sit on this hip, hand out to the side, stretching the legs out. You can keep a little bend in the knees if you want to help support yourself. And then we want you to think about pressing this rib cage down towards the mat. There's a little bend in the elbow, in the shoulder, really dropping deep into that rib cage. You can walk that hand out a little bit further if it feels good. I'm going to hold it here for a couple of breaths, all the way in, all the way out. Feel the rib cage almost sagging down towards the mat. One more breath. Now we can add a little bit of strength into this. If this feels good, if you're really enjoying that kind of drop of the rib down to the mat, I want you to stay there. If you want to add a little bit more energy, a little bit more strength into the pose, you're going to bring this top leg, press the foot down onto the mat, resting on the hip, bottom leg is straight. As you breathe in, you're going to press into the hand and press into that foot, lift the hips up and away, get a little bit of stretch through this top rib cage. Exhale, take it down, stretching into the bottom here. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, take it down. Now, if you want to, that top arm can start to get involved as well. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, take it down. We're going to do one more. Big breath in. Oh, big breath out. Good job. Flip it back round to all fours. Come back to that little bit of cat-cow movement. Inhale, dip the belly. Exhale, pressing up and through. In and out. In and out. Again, take the knees a little closer, step the hands away and take those little dips of the hip side to side. Notice the difference between the left side and the right side. And then you're going to come onto the opposite hip. So I'm going to flip around so you can still see me. So onto that opposite hip. Keep the knees out to the side, perhaps a little bend in them, and drop the rib cage down towards the mat. So there's a lengthening from the hip up through the ribs. You can walk that hand out a little bit further. Find whatever feels comfortable through the shoulder and the elbow here. You can drop down onto the forearm if you want to. Try and find somewhere that feels like you're putting just the right amount of effort in to feel the benefit. It doesn't feel like you're having to grit the teeth or work too hard here. And then if you want to come into that slightly more energetic variation, hand underneath the shoulder, foot pressing into the mat. I will advise you that this can feel really graceful on one side and then really challenging on the other side. So don't panic if it doesn't come together. As you breathe in, lift up and away, press into the foot, press into the hand. Exhale, dip it back down. Inhale, again, it's that stretch through the top ribs. Exhale, through the bottom if you want to. That top arm can start to get involved. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more, breathing in. Exhale, pop it back down. Come back round to all fours. This time, taking the knees a little bit wider. Press the hips back towards the heels. Drop the forehead down, either onto stacked hands or all the way down onto the mat. Wiggle yourself into a little bit of child's pose. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And there is, of course, a lateral stretch available here. We can walk the hands over to one side of the mat, keeping the head down, kicking into the side of the ribs. And then for a little bonus, you can add a twist. Dropping the head down towards the mat, threading that arm underneath. I'm going to take 2 breaths here. Longer if you have the time. Otherwise, unraveling. Sweep the hands over to the other side. Again, find that stretch down through the ribs first of all. Add in that twist if it feels good. And slowly sliding the hands back in, bring yourself back to the center. Roll yourself all the way back up to that comfortable seat wherever you started. Let the spine again unfurl itself, rippling right the way up to the crown of the head. Fingertips press into the side of the mat. Roll the shoulders down the back. Find that smile. Plant it firmly on your face. Take a deep breath in. And then sigh out. Take another 2 breaths like this. Noticing perhaps how much better you feel for just that 10-15 minutes of movement. Stretching up through the sides of the waist, encouraging yourself to take slightly deeper breaths. And remembering that every time you're drawn to take a deep breath, you have that opportunity to just intuitively wiggle into the side of the waist. I'm going to close practice now by breathing in, stretch the arms up, again that little intuitive opportunity. Exhale, drop the hands all the way down, have a little flex. And a roll through the shoulders and you're done.